Yo, what up, street gods? There, Kim. Alright, some turbo thoughts. So this one is harness and channel the Disoptimal. So a practical thought is, I think in life actually there's everything will be disoptimal, unoptimal, and irregardless of it, you should still try to do the thing you want. So for example, there's no perfect time to go to the gym, there's no perfect time to be creative, there's no perfect time to start a business, etc. And the conditions will never be favorable nor optimal. And maybe the goal is to just be like a little indifferent towards the optimality of things. Optimality, is that a word that I make it up? All right, so disregard the optimality of things and just kind of do the thing irregardless, right? So even something about having a kid, right? There's really no optimal time to have a kid. You're never really going to be 100% ready. Me and Cindy, we had Seneca when we were both 33, 32, 33, 32, I think 32, yeah, 32, right? So I mean, there are certain like biological constraints, right? Like women, when they're above a certain age, things become a little more difficult, whatever. But for the most part, just know that everything is always going to be disoptimal, and yeah, like that's okay. It's I think it's a fact of life and society and the world is nothing will ever be perfect or optimal. Like even for example the gym, right? You know, depending on where you live or where you go, there's certain gyms which are more optimal, less optimal, but irregardless, just figure out how to best leverage what you got. And sometimes by not having the thing that which you desire, it actually forces you to be innovative. So for example, you know, when I was in Phnom Penh, I loved having the trap bar, the open hex bar, but here at my local gym, you're only limited to 4 plates on each side. So I'm like, you know, maybe I'll try something else. And so I discovered and innovated with this 1 rep max trap bar pull instead, and the rack bar pull, power rack pull, whatever they call it. And it actually might be more interesting and fun for me, right? And you know, even if you think about Dr. Seuss, right? That one graduation book that everyone always buys you, the things you could do or whatever, the places you'll go or something. There's some people who are always waiting around for a perfect opportunity to do anything, but to me that's kind of a sucker's game, a sucker's trap, because if you're always trying to do everything waiting for the optimal moment, A, you'll never do anything, and B, I think you'll just end up doing and achieving less in life, and you'll just be not as happy and fulfilled. And therefore I feel that in life a more disoptimal concept is actually superior, because if you don't seek for optimal, then it, like, to me it's actually more empowering, because you're less at the mercy of external reality, and instead you got more power in your hands where you could actually do and attempt the things that you want to do with what you currently got, your current reality, right? And even a big philosophical breakthrough that I've gleaned was all places suck, right? I mean, certainly they're like there's a hierarchy of things, right? Like there are certain places which are certainly more interesting, but it's like not even like how good or bad or interesting the place you live in. I think what the goal is to extract the maximum benefits out of anywhere or the place that you currently are. So even being in the suburban areas, you know, life is a lot boringer, but then maybe the upside of that is it forces you to try to live a more interesting, virtuous life. And it is actually much more difficult and hard, but irregardless of that, it's actually another opportunity, right? So I like to think that in life it's not about the downsides of certain things, but it's more about figuring out novel opportunities. Typically it's bad situations and downsides and stuff like that is where the greatest opportunities lie. So for example, even when the economy is going south, there's actually lots of virtuous opportunities to be made. Or even in life, right? Like when things not always going your way, there are a lot of positive ways you could leverage bad situations. I think that's the most clever and innovative way to live your life. So my practical suggestion and thought is, whenever you're confronted with a disoptimal solution, rather than playing sour grapes and trying to convince yourself how it's a good situation, maybe it's best to just be like, okay, this situation is not optimal, but maybe the fact of the matter is things will never be optimal. So in spite of that, how can I leverage that to my personal maximum?